could not have worn louder pants.
You know the funny thing is like when my beard was longer and I would like mic myself, it was a
Well, so you feel me.
yeah. I had loud beard. You have loud pants.
I have loud pants.
Yeah.
But they're cool looking though.
Yeah,
like,
they're really cool.
they're like iridescent snake print.
Yeah, no shit. Is that real snake?
I mean, real iridescent snake from Amazon. Not the Amazon, from
Not
Amazon.com.
you gotta make it clear.
Yeah.
Shit.
I just have to sit with my legs apart, make sure I don't make any noise. I'm just setting the tone for this podcast.
Well, we're rolling, so.
Perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
Just setting the tone. I'm sitting with my legs far apart because my pants are noisy, but they're sexy snake print.
Oh, there you go. So, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Samantha Mack.
Hello, Samantha Mack.
What's your name?
Ivan. My dad, because he thinks he's funny, calls me Ivan the Terrible once he realizes he did porn. Yeah.
I was going to say, do you get called Ivan the Terrible?
No, I'm like, Ivan the Terrible? What do you mean?
You don't know who Ivan the Terrible is?
No, I know.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not Ivan the Terrible.
Oh, okay.
Maybe in some people's eyes.
You're Ivan the Wonderful.
Well, I don't know about wonderful.
We should get you a shirt that says that.
Ivan the Pushover is more like it.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
That's pretty accurate.
As your friend, I will confirm that is accurate.
I used to be called Captain Save-A-Ho. I guess I still could be called Captain Save-A-Ho, but there's,
I mean, you have to start wearing a cape.
Yeah, I need to
Like a
retire
superhero.
as a captain. I need a Captain Save-A-Bro for me.
Oh, I'm going to steal that.
Yeah, you could have it.
Captain Save a Bro.
Yeah, you can pick a shirt, Captain
That's
Save-A-Bro.
me, Captain Save a Bro.
That's right. We're two captains here, saving the world.
Captain's log.
Captain's log, yeah, would that be a good one? Instead of like people used to have little black books and they would like write down like stars
Yeah.
for each person. That's captain's log right there. So we finally going to do a podcast together.
It's about time.
I guess it's just us talking shit. And when did we meet? Do you remember when we actually met?
We met at AVN. You had Viking horns at registration. In the line for registration.
Yeah.
And that's when we met. And I don't remember if it was the Viking horns or your sneakers. But it was one of the two, and I was like, yo, I like your style.
Yeah, I remember this because like when I ran to at one of the conventions and we just started talking about sneakers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think for some reason I keep thinking you had like green sneakers. It just stuck in my head. I don't know, like cause like you're the only person that I ever ran into. There was like, oh, I love your fucking style and sneakers, and as a female, like usually dudes are the only ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, girls never.
I used to borrow sneakers from one of my bartenders at the Penthouse because we had the same size feet, and he has a wild sneaker game. His name is Ben, and I think the sneakers I wore that year were his. They were high tops that looked like little stuffed animals. They were like white tiger print, and then the tongue of the sneaker was the like tiger teddy bear head.
Yeah.
And they were furry. And then they had a tail off the back of the heel.
Yep.
I think those are the ones that I borrowed for that show. I remember borrowing those. And I borrowed his Flu Games Jordans when I came out here in February because I heard the guy I was interviewing with really respected like a good shoe game.
Gotcha.
And so he was like, "Here, these are rare.
Yeah.
The color and the style." And I knew nothing about Jordans at the time, and I wore them like that whole weekend.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Whatever you do, just take pictures of my shoes." I didn't realize how expensive these shoes were.
Right.
He's like, "Just take pictures of them all over Hollywood." And so I took the like pictures of the Hollywood side of my shoes out, like all these funny photos. And he was so stoked that his shoes got to see Hollywood. But I nailed the interview and ended up getting like exactly what I went there for. Because the dude was like, yo, nice J's, as I walked out. And I was like, oh, these old things. Meanwhile, I had like begged, borrowed, and stolen to have these shoes.
That's funny. Like the shoes you're talking about, they're Jeremy Scott's the teddy bear ones.
Yeah.
Because I have.
Of course you know what they are.
I have the teddy bear. They're like the 60s version because they have like flower print on them.
Is
so
it possible that you were wearing the teddy bear sneakers the same time I was wearing the teddy bear sneakers?
It could have happened.
That might have been what bonded us.
Yeah, could have. I also have pink poodle sneakers.
Of course you do.
So they're like Jeremy Scott's as well, and they have a poodle on the front. Yeah, they're upstairs in my haunted bed.
I feel like sneakers is what bonded us.
I think that's actually what it was. Yeah, that's definitely what it was.
And the Viking horns were cool because I was told my whole life that I was a Viking. So I was like, my people.
That's right. That's right. Russian.
Yeah.
And then when I do the whole Russian Viking King thing, I get corrected all the time. There's no such thing as a Russian Viking. I'm like, who cares? This is all a joke.
Yeah.
This is all a joke. I'm not serious. I'm not fighting you. I don't have a fucking, an axe and a shield and I'm ready to fight for my honor of being a Russian Viking. I don't care. This is a joke. It's all a joke.
Yeah.
Our whole lives are like so all over the place. Like, you can't take us seriously. People do, unfortunately. Now, talking about seriously, you have a serious business, which is Porno Boot Camp.
Very serious.
It's very serious. For some people, it's serious.
It's very serious. You saw the documentary?
No.
Oh, I should send it to you.
Yeah, you should send it
to
me.
The guy who technically wins the competition that's in that documentary almost cries at the end. His voice cracks.
What?
And he sounds like he's about to cry, and he's like, training paid off. You could tell Samantha Mack's proud of me. He's almost in tears. And it's the best moment of the whole show. Because you can see, like, it humanizes these guys who are, you think are just horn dogs who want to get into porn.
Yeah.
But they go through Porno Boot Camp and they try the tests, and then the guy who, like, wins the test, like, gets the highest score, he's just like, training paid off. And he's, like, choking back tears. And I was like, they take this so seriously. And it shows you, like, the heart of these guys who are just trying to chase this dream they never thought was possible.
Right.
And here I am, like, dangling it in front of them in, like, a game show.
Look at game show. Wow.
And they struggle and they strive for this and they train. And I've become the porno coach.
That's right. I was actually talking about your Porno Boot Camp today at the office with our civilian worker.
Yep.
And she was like, this is the greatest idea. I'm like, yeah, it's fucking cool.
Oh, I should send you guys the video. Yeah, we have a documentary from Vice that talks, like, that really showcases it really well. So they followed 3 of our male performers who were competing that day. Now, we did set that show up for Vice. It is not 100% reality.
Yeah, of course. Well,
we handpicked which performers were going to be seen on TV, and we were very careful about, like, who we put in front of the camera and who spoke and who didn't. Because we wanted to put our best foot forward. Because with something like Porno Boot Camp, it's really easy for it to go sideways real fast.
Right.
So they talked to these guys before, and they were like, what are you looking forward to? What are you scared of? And they showed a very real, raw, human experience from a male perspective about what it's like to get your chance in porn. And it's not horny, and it's not sexy, and it's not disgusting. It's funny, but it's very humbling. And the way that they filmed it and produced it was, I mean, it's so lovely. It's on YouTube. People are literally getting blowjobs on YouTube, and it's still safe for YouTube.
Really?
Yeah.
So you guys frame, like, waist up?
It's filmed very carefully.
Oh, God.
It's filmed very carefully.
And still on YouTube, like, it hasn't...
It's almost at 30 million views.
Wow, that's very impressive to, like, have something like that on YouTube, and YouTube's, like, just lets it...
We are Vice's most watched video from the last, I believe, 8 years.
No shit.
Yeah. We're the number 5 most watched video of all time. But from the last 8 years, we are the number 1 most viewed video.
Whoa, that's so cool.
And they've filmed some famous people.
Yeah.
But yeah, we blew out of the water.
Damn.
And the content is honest, you know? Like, these are amateurs who are like, wow, porn is so cool. I wish I could do that. And then here I am like, okay, well, you can do it. Yeah. Let's see if you can.
Yeah.
Let's see if you've got what it takes. And then we put these guys to the test. Now, originally, Porno Boot Camp was training men for porn because all these girls needed guys to work with in order to do their OnlyFans or their clip stores or whatever else. And producing porn in Vancouver, we had a plethora of women. We were flying up women from LA to work. We didn't have male talent for them. Flying up male talent is so difficult because they can only do one shoot a day, and they're expensive, and their per diems and their hotels. It just wasn't worth it. Yeah. Unless a guy could pop twice in a day, which most can't. So we started training local Vancouver talent so we could just bring in 3 guys in a day, shoot 3 scenes, and have it all done. Right. So it became like about being cost effective to us. And so we're like, all right, Vancouver, men, where are you? Show us your penises. And show us they did.
You know, I think the problem that you're having, you're hiring pretty guys that could only have 1 pop shot during a day. You need to hire ugly gonzo guys.
Well, watch the documentary.
Oh, okay.
We have every shape and size. We have different age groups.
Okay.
The guy who was in his 20s, who was like young and like super average, he got so nervous he couldn't even get hard.
Oh.
We had a 52-year-old man in there who was like rock hard, ready to go.
Yeah.
Who bodybuilder, like he looked better than the guys half his age. And then we've got like the guy with the dad bod who had a surprise 12-inch dick out of nowhere, who was like had a ponytail and glasses, who was like ready to go. So I mean, I try really hard not to say no to people because of how they look.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, I can get you a haircut. I can tell you, like, change your diet. We can bring you to the gym. We can get you a tan. We can manscape you. But either your dick works or it doesn't. I can't fix that part.
Yeah,
so if you come to me with a fabulous dick and great work ethic, I can fix the surface.
Right. Yeah.
But it's that work ethic and, biology. That helps.
Yeah, 100%.
And a lot of guys look absolutely gorgeous. And they've got great personalities, but then their dick is just like, womp, womp.
The other problem is you're putting them together with a woman.
Yeah, sometimes that's a big problem. Yeah. Sometimes that's just too much.
It's like, wait, vagina? What are you talking about?
I have had the most sincere gay man audition and be like, it's okay, like I'll do women, but like whenever you open a gay channel, let me know. And they're like, it's okay, like I'll be straight for pay.
Oh.
And I was just like, no, I'll find a hot man for you. I'm sorry. I have a big gay heart, so.
Just like a Canadian. I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
We only shoot straight porn, but like, I'll get you a guy. We'll just get you a guy. Don't worry about it.
I'll start talking to the gay companies and I'll get a gay contract for you. Like, and I've done that. I felt so bad that there was this wonderful man with wonderful work ethic and a great attitude, and I just can't use him for straight porn. So I was like, okay, what gay companies do I know who would let me shoot? Because he deserves a shot.
Right, yeah,
He's so lovely, but the companies I work with just don't shoot that style that he'd be good at.
Yeah.
And so instead of me being like, sorry, bro, can't help you, I'm like, I'll just work harder.
That's fine.
I'll just become a gay producer. It's fine. I'll learn how to shoot gay content.
Anything for you, man. Anything for you.
Well, I just love the underdog so much.
Right.
Like every time I watch like UFC, remember the UFC house show, like where they were like training together.
The tough, whatever. Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, I remember watching that. I'd always shoot for the underdog,
Yeah.
and I would just like be sitting at the edge of my seat, like, oh, come on, you've got this, buddy, because you always want the underdog to win, right? Like there's something so rewarding about that. And then when you mix that type of like energy and camaraderie with sex, it just becomes out of control.
Yeah.
You're like, come on, dude, I want you to do well. Get in there, sport.
I got an interesting story for you. So, I had a friend, industry friend. He was hired by a guy in, I think, Spain, some older gentleman who wanted a collection of scenes.
Okay.
Now, I was just hired to edit the stuff. And when he told me this, I'll be honest with you, the most fun I ever had editing, besides all the cool shit I've shot, that by far was the most fun job I had. So the scenes were brand new young girl in the industry with guys that are 50 and over, but have to look almost 60 and over. So if you're 50 and you look 60, they're hiring him.
So these guys are like shaving the tops of their heads to give themselves friar tucks to be there.
They have to look old. Like if there's an old guy that looks young, no, you don't look old enough. And the best part for me, and it was shot super amateur, that was the whole point.
Oh, I'm cringing.
Now you think about this, because this is how gonzo guys used to operate as well, because the real pornographers are not these fucking guys shooting all this pretty shit. It's those guys that started with gonzo and like really dirty porn and shit. This motherfucker pulled what a lot of gonzo companies did. No, you're not seeing this old man naked until the video's rolling. We're doing hardcore pictures halfway through the scene, not before. You're not seeing his shrinked up little wiener or fucking wrinkled balls or gray pubes until, and they always have to wear tighty whities. That was the best part. So the scenarios, whatever it is, and these brand new cute little girls, and always the shot is right there as she's pulling down the tighty whities, and the expression on her face first time she sees the wrinkly balls just fall out of the priceless. I loved editing that stuff. And the funny thing is some of the girls became like bigger names because that stuff never saw the light of day. He would shoot it, give it to me, and I'm like, dude, I'll give you a deal. I don't give a fuck. These are easy to edit, especially if they're amateur. So you sound like you're trying to like.
So were they like for a private collection?
Yeah.
Oh,
collection, yeah.
okay.
I mean, there was paperwork and everything. So for all I know, the guy could have put them on DVD back home in Spain or whatever. But as far as I knew, it was for private collection. And I'm like, some of the girls became pretty big names. You're like, oh my God.
Remember when you fucked your grandpa?
Yeah.
Wow.
You're first. And so that deer in the headlights stuff, is priceless. You know, it's the pervert in me going, this is kind of funny. You came in to be a porn star and you're banging some old dude. But back then, that's what it was. Like all the young girls that came in, they always had to do scenes with older dudes because that was the fantasy at the time. And
but we do the same thing to men too. We're like, oh, you want to get into porn? Cool, try gay porn. Or you're gonna fuck the fattest, ugliest chick out there. Like the industry, like I say, I don't mean you and me, but like the industry used to do that to guys.
100%.
Sometimes they still do.
Oh, for sure. And it becomes like a running joke. Like was it Jam Productions used to have this website called Midnight Prowl was a DVD.
Yeah.
And the fucked up thing is, you know, and I dated Cami Andrews, who did literally everything and anyone and anything.
Yeah.
And I wasn't jealous. I shot some of that stuff, and I straight up told her, if you ever shoot Midnight Prowl, that's the one thing I will never get out of my brain. We're breaking up. Like, I'm sorry, I would have to break up with you because I've seen a couple of those DVDs, and they're so disturbing. I don't know if I could get that out of my head. Someone I love going to a fucking adult shop. So basically, you get in a limo with a girl. She winds up fucking Mike Sullivan, who's the director. Which is fine because he's a performer, you know, it is what it is. But then they go into the adult shop.
Yep.
And all the customers are there.
Yep.
And you get paid whatever the girl decides on the rate per guy. So now it's a joke on the girl, and it's a joke on the guys. And whoever's watching it, you're not watching it for the sexuality and the beauty romance of it. You're watching because it's a train wreck in every direction. And I remember, and my ex was completely down to do all that shit. Like, in fact, she had a director who was a friend in the industry who wanted to. And I had to set and again, like I'm not that guy. I had to set my foot down and said, "You're not doing this." Her friend, who's the director, goes, "I want to watch you fuck a bunch of mopes." And mopes were guys that did only blowbangs. They weren't They were performers only. They were like the jerk off guys or the guys who drop blows on the girl's face.
Yeah.
And so her friend, the director, female director, not gonna mention her name. She's a really good director. She's really creepy and weird.
Gotcha.
And good friend.
Gotcha.
But completely fucking. So she calls my ex and she goes, "I want to get a bunch of mopes, get a hotel room, and I want to watch you like blow all these dudes in the hotel room while they watch." And my ex is like, "Sure." I'm like, "No, you're not." I'm like, "Are you getting paid?" Like, not. I started sounding like a fucking pimp. "No, unless you're making that money, girl, you're not doing this, right?" Because I'm going, why are you the puppet for her all of a sudden? I don't understand how, like, she wants to get her jollies off, so she's not gonna pay you. She's not gonna record it. She just wants you to blow a bunch of
watch you blow.
Yeah, a bunch of creepy motherfuckers. One of them, his name was Face Blaster, and I hope he listens to my fucking podcast. I have no idea. Creepy fucking little bastard with little fucking glasses, as nerdy as it gets, right? One time, my brother used to be in the industry as a director. Mm-hmm. This fucking guy thinks he knows the industry, a little fucking mope, right? He goes on one of the big message boards and goes, hey, and he says my brother's name. Ricky D and Ivan, they're not really brothers, it's all a gimmick. What?
I love it when people say like atrocious lies with such confidence.
Yeah. I'm like, this just happened to my brother. My brother used to be a shit talker and a half.
Yeah.
And he blasted this guy. The best one my brother used to pull, he would go on a message board and he would like, and I would always get mad at him. I'm like, you walked into a room, dropped a grenade, and you fucking ran out.
Yeah, you can't do that.
You can't, and he would throw me. Like, I would be in that room.
He's just throwing you under the bus.
Oh, yeah. And he thought it was fucking hilarious. Like, to do shit like that. I'm like, dude. Like, and he's like, that was kind of funny. I'm like, no, because I'm still in the room having to deal with this, with the shrapnel everywhere. Yep. What the fuck are you doing? But, yeah, so Midnight Prowl was the only thing that I had an issue with her doing. And this blow bang in the hotel room. But because that kind of stuff is basically like, it's entertainment only for people who want to sit and giggle at the people in front of the camera. And I was kind of like, nah, you know, like, I like having fun and shooting cool shit, but not at the expense of somebody. Yeah. And that's especially at the expense of somebody who doesn't get it. Like, if they understand and they're part of the joke, sure, but I don't want to make them the butt of the joke and them not getting it, because then it's just like, then, like, you know, my Jew guilt comes in and just like, and you'll be Canadian, you'll be like, I'm sorry the whole time, and I'm like, I'm being a Jew, I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do now?
Oh man, the first scene I directed out here, I remember going to the girl and writing an apology on my phone and turning my phone to her so she could read it, so I wouldn't have to like, so the people who I was apologizing for wouldn't hear me.
Really? Yeah. Why were you what happened? Don't incriminate yourself for anybody.
The people who were paying for, we were filming multiple scenes. Mm-hmm. And the people who wanted these scenes were self-proclaimed directors, mm-hmm. and what they were asking for the style we were shooting was actually impossible. And so they were making the model redo it and redo it and redo it to the point where like she was exhausted and this was stupid. And so I was like, listen, the camera's capable of doing this. You're capable of doing this. What they're asking for is way over here in left field. So we're just going to try to do our best to make it look like we're making them happy while still making a good product. And I was like, I'm so sorry that they don't, like, they're asking for something different each time. Like, they don't know what they want. And I just, like, apologized, like, on behalf of them. And I apologized for them. And I was like, you're beautiful. You're doing a great job. Like, you're going way over and above. Like, you've clearly already made your paycheck, but unfortunately we have to shoot again because they're not happy.
Yeah.
And this isn't fair to you, and I recognize that, and there's nothing I can do about it. But you're such a sport, and I want you to know that, like, you are such a team player right now, and, like, I'll call your agent and sing your praises. Like, I'll do whatever I can. I'll promote the heck out of you. Like, I'm so proud of, like, your work ethic and your professionalism. And the girl was like, it's fine. Job's gonna get done. And I was like, wow, this happens so, like, for me and the women I work with, happens so often. The girls are like, it's fine, job's gonna get done one way or another.
Wow, that's nice because you'll get others, you're like counting the fucking seconds.
I hate working with people like that. But I often, like, good attracts good. So, like, I attract people who have my same work ethic.
Right, yeah.
You know, that's why you and I work well together.
Yeah, right.
We like creating crazy shit. Even at the cost of our sleep and sanity.
Sleep, wallet, whatever. Sanity. You know.
How many times am I like, oh, we just go to Target and buy more?
We'll
buy more shit. It's fine.
It's all good. We got it. Let's go to dinner, but we didn't do anything. It's fine. Let's go to dinner and just buy whatever you want, eat whatever you want. There was actually years ago, I was shooting it with Sasha. It was my last movie for Anabolic. So if somebody wants to do the research, you could probably figure out who the fucking girl is. She won Best New Starlet.
Gotcha.
So we'll even go that far.
Gotcha.
So we're shooting a scene. It's my last movie for Anabolic. They wanted me to shoot storyline. I'm like, really? You got me to shoot? Because I'm down. And you've never seen me shoot a storyline. So I'm going to make the weirdest, most fucked up shit ever. I made Sasha and James Dean wear fucking fishnet shirts.
Beautiful.
Little leather shorts. James was all into it. Sasha's like, I don't want to wear this. I'm like, you probably wear this at home. What the fuck? Seriously?
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to wear it on camera all of a sudden? So this particular girl, she was the big new thing, right? Beautiful new fucking girl. So we're shooting the scene, and literally, shit you not, 11 minutes into the scene, in Mish, second position, she puts her hand up towards camera, and she goes, how much longer? No. And I'm just like, oh my God, did she just fucking do this? And I look at Sasha, and I'm like, I go, you could pop any time. I'm like, I don't even want to fucking be here anymore, because what are we going to get now? We're going to get you being a fucking starfish, not doing shit. And I was like, wow. And then when she won Best New Star, I'm like, yeah, okay, I wonder how she won. Why are you fucking kidding me? Like, 11 minutes of the scene, and she was pretty high rate, you know, like, because she was the hot new thing, box cover girl and all that stuff, and she didn't get on the box cover. Shyla Stylez got the box cover. Yeah.
That's my girl.
Yeah, that's right, fucking Shyla. So
Shyla Stylez' sister is my original pussy doctor.
Oh, wow.
In Vancouver, yeah.
That sounds like a book. Shyla Stylez.
Well, I went to her clinic and was like, hey, like, you know, I've got this scarred up pussy. I need some laser done. And she was like, yeah, what happened? And I told her, like, oh, well, I work in porn. She was like, oh my God, so did my sister. So she told me this is the story of her sister.
Yeah.
And I told her the story of why I had scars on my pussy. And we both started crying. And then she did all my laser treatments for, like, dirt cheap. Because she's like, I want to help so bad. She messages me all the time out here. And I have, like, friends who will, like, send me old pictures of Shyla, and I send them back to her. And,
Shyla is the only person who died in the industry that I cried over, because we did her website, and she was always so...
everyone speaks so positively of her. I never met her.
When she was, by her real name, she was great. The problem was when she was Shyla, that was the issue. She was always nice to me.
Yeah.
And she always promoted me. She always tried to get me work with big companies. I'm like, I work for a big company. I don't want to need other work. But she was always she came to Puba, our company, because of me. And we didn't realize how big she was, or at least my partners didn't, until we decided to throw a party in San Diego. And she was in charge to putting this party together.
Nice.
Motherfucker. So she did a radio show. This is so fucking funny. Well, so we're driving to the radio show, and she goes, I think I'm going to take my panties off so I could flirt with the DJs. I'm like, okay.
Love her.
So I'm driving, you know, we have the photographer in the back and her assistant. And so we get there. She flirts with them because she's like, I'm gonna flirt with them, and it's going to like blow their mind, and they're gonna be nervous. And they got nervous, you know. They're like, oh, fucking Shyla, and she's got no panties. She's fucking playing with her miniskirt. We get in the car, and I remember seeing her taking her panties and putting them under the seat or something like that, right? She gets in the car, and she's like, where are my panties? I go, they're under the seat. She goes, no. She's like, am I wearing them? And I'm like, you're not wearing them. You took them off before. And we get in the fight. We get in an argument over this. And she's like, where are my panties? Did I leave them in the radio show? I'm like, they're under the seat. No, they're not. I thought I was wearing them. And I'm like, I don't have a pussy, but I imagine, like, if you're wearing or not wearing, you feel it. You could feel it. And she's like, where's my...
She's fucking with you.
No, she was Shyla at the time.
Oh, okay.
And so she found them under the seat.
Of course. Or she left them.
Yeah, where she left them. We're there. So the party comes. And this is how much pull she had. She had this giant club get 2 hotels to get us rooms. We had something like 12 or 14 girls, big porn chicks, come down from fucking LA to be at this party. Jaden James, Laura, Phoenix Marie, Asa Akira, London Keys, Charlie Chase, fucking huge names. Bridget B, like names, right? And Natasha Nice and obviously Shyla, and it's on my YouTube channel. Holy fuck! Like, cause I cut like a little video for it, and we pull up on our buses, and there's thousands of people outside.
Yep.
And they made full size cutouts of every girl outside, just standing there.
Wow.
And so the club was so big. The first part was 18 to 21, and 21 or 18 to 20, and 21 and over was further in the back.
So American.
Holy shit! It was insanity in there. Oh my fucking god! It was so cool. And then you realize, like, Shyla's got some serious pull. She knows some serious people. She is as porn star gets, from her look to her performances. Still one of the best performers I've ever shot. Insane, like, for her to look like that, to be box cover girl, and then you could tear her up, you could fucking throw her against the wall, and she's spitting at you as you're doing it. You know, I one of the first scenes she ever shot for her website, it was at one of her friend's houses, an apartment. It was like an empty apartment, you know, like those fucking dudes that have empty apartments for girls to stay or whatever. She's like, my friend has an empty apartment in Shamrock. So we're like, how empty? We get there, there's nothing in there. We're like,
oh, real empty.
Yeah, like real empty. What the fuck goes on in here, right? Except it was a bed. There was a bed, obviously. A bed in the bedroom. So the scene she was doing with Tony Rivas. And Tony Rivas, he's fucking rough. And he's a man's man. Like, that's an alpha fucking male, right? So she decides to talk shit to him.
Of course she does.
Holy shit. And we start rolling. This might be one of the fucking craziest scenes because there's nothing in the fucking room. And she's like, fuck you. It's like spits at him and then slaps him. And then it becomes like almost like an MMA fight with fucking. You know, it was so and as the rougher he's getting, she's talking more shit to him. And I'm just like, am I supposed to break this up? Or who's getting hurt here? Like,
I think I really like her.
I was like, oh my gosh. So yeah, she was fantastic. She was, you know, I just think that she had probably not enough people in her life that were like, stop doing this. I think that's probably what happened.
Yeah, you got to have real people in your life who care about you, the person, because it's easy with like any job where you're getting attention and fame and money to get swept up. Yeah. It's real easy.
Yeah, especially in our industry.
Yeah. You got to keep people around you who keep you level.
Yeah.
But what I think people don't know though is like you're probably one of the most professional directors I know. Like if a chick's all like, I'm not going to wear my panties, like you're not looking. You're just like, okay. Like, right. Like you are one of like the far more professional people I know to work with, and it's you're very anti-porn director stereotype.
Yeah, and a lot of people assume because of the way I dress, I'm the typical porn guy. So what happens a lot of times, and I lose a lot of respect for guys in the industry because they come to me talking like guys, and I'm sitting there listening, going, "You just turned me off from wanting to be even friends with you." Yeah. Because you're so creepy and so fucking weird. Because they're like, yeah, man, that fucking chick, I'd fuck her, like, or whatever the fuck. And I'm just sitting there like,
because they assume that you're fucking all the chicks.
Yeah. Oh, and I would get that all the time from fans. You must be banging girls all the time. Or the other one would get like, how would a fucking hot girl like that fuck you? And like, you know, so you get both
sides of it. Yeah.
You get so Yeah, but to me, like, you know, 18,
But at the end of the day, you're like every girl's best friend.
yeah. Well, you know, the funny thing you say that, because like one year, Anabolic did a birthday party for me at the lounge that we do all our stuff at, and they made a giant poster of my face and says every porn star's BFF. You know, like in 18 years of directing, I've touched 2 boobs on set. 2 pairs of boobs. One,
I'm sure there was a reason for both.
yeah, well, one, it was Carly Parker,
Yep.
and she knew that I don't touch boobs on set, and her and Tony T come up to me. I remember where we shot. We shot this fucking mansion in Chatsworth, and she goes, we're not shooting the scene. I go, why not? She goes, until you touch my titties, we're not shooting. And Tony's like, yes, we're not doing
So
anything.
they were playing with you.
Yeah, they were, and I'm like, fuck, okay, fine.
They were making fun of you because you're so professional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other one was
those are real friends.
Yeah, yes, exactly. The other one was this girl, she had some kind of a valve in her boob that she could like inflate and deflate her tits.
Thing, yeah.
And she was like, touch them. And she wasn't really touching a boob. It was more like touching side boob or whatever. And it was kind of gross.
It was kind of science.
Oh my God, it was so fucking crazy. It was like...
Yeah, I don't like those.
She was also like, she had these crazy scars on her arms from like motorcycle accidents and burns from like, 'cause she was like a fire eater and shit. So we're shooting this boy girl with her. And her agency pictures, she looked fantastic.
Yeah.
She shows up, we're like, oh, yeah, okay. You motherfucking agents who like Photoshop all these pictures, not fair. So she shows up, right? It was for Cougars. We're doing a series called Cougars.
Yeah.
That most MILFs hate because they're like, I'm a MILF, not a Cougar. Cougar's older than a MILF. Whatever. Anyways, Deborah BJ shooting down, you know, and one of the male performers, Tony, walks away. And I'm like, what the fuck's he on? He pulls me aside, takes me outside. What are you doing? Yo, I'm not doing the scene because when I'm looking down, it looks like a dude is giving me a blowjob.
No.
It's straight up. And I'm like, okay, man. I'm like, you can leave.
Can you close your eyes?
I'm like, you're fine.
Like,
and
do you have a spank bank in your memory?
Well, you know, that's the funny thing you say because Sasha was the other guy. So I went aside and I'm like, Tony left. Tony called the agent and cursed the agent out. And I took Sasha aside to go, Sasha, are you cool doing this? And he's all like, oh yeah, I'm fucking good. And so he goes, if we could be a little bit more rougher during the scene, you know, so I could get more into it. So we asked her, I'm like, are you cool? She was like, oh, I love rough scenes. Oh, choke me, do whatever. And I asked him after the scene, I go, Sasha, how the fuck did you get through this? And what you just said, the spank bank thing, he goes, I just focus on one part of the girl that I'm really attracted to, and I just stick on that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's why you're a professional.
Yeah.
And that's why now you're even a Hall of Fame performer. Because
Sasha is a professional. You know what? Like, I remember getting so many stories about Sasha before I ever worked with him.
Yeah.
But honestly, he's one of the easiest guys I've ever worked with.
Right. Yeah.
Not the easiest, but one of the easiest.
As a director, sometimes it's still be like, come on, motherfucker.
Oh, you reel him in really well. You guys work well together.
Yeah.
He needs you.
You know, it's funny because Christiana at the office, if he listens to this, he's going to know that her and I talk about him. She goes, I guess she was busting his balls. And he goes, you have a really funny sense of humor. She goes, yeah, but I don't want to like... He goes, no. You can make jokes with me. And then he goes to her, but don't be like Ivan. He makes fun of me in front of other people, and it hurts my feelings. He's such a kid. He's such a... She's like, he was so cute. He was like a kid. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, but you know, like when you
joke... It's endearing, though.
Yeah, when you joke with people... It's because you like them.
Yeah.
If you don't like them, you're not going to make jokes with them.
Yeah.
You're going to be standoffish.
Yeah.
So that's just how it is because you're comfortable enough to bust their balls and they could bust your balls back to get through it and have fun. And that's just kind of how our sets are. And all my sets are like that because, you know, porn's supposed to be fun, right? It's not supposed to be
porn is supposed to be fun.
You know, it's not supposed to be like you walk in on eggshells.
In that interview I just did with XBiz Magazine, I talk about your scripts and working with you.
Uh-huh.
And at the end of that whole statement, I go, porn's supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
I'm like, and that's what these companies ensure.
Yeah.
I was talking about you and I was talking about Burning Angel, and I'm like, these are fun scripts. This is fun porn to do.
Yeah.
And like you two are like two of my favorite people to work for because it's always entertaining. Like I know the character I'm going to play is going to be somebody I want to be for a day.
Right. Yeah,
it's hilarious.
That's why I've never taken jobs from bigger companies because it was always been like, I want to be my own boss. Like the beauty of working for Extreme Associates, for whatever people thought of them, was the freedom to create. Rob Black and Tom Bryan were like, do whatever the fuck you want. There was only 3 rules. I think I've told you them like off a podcast. You know, I was like, no poop, no fisting, no making fun of Jews.
Yeah.
That's literally what they told me. Well, Rob told me. And the 2 were illegal. The other one, he was just like, oh, Jews don't run the industry, which is bullshit. I'm a Jew. I don't run shit. You know? I run on my fucking elliptical. Well, that's not even running. But, you know, that's about it. That's all I run. I run away from crazy people.
Meanwhile, I'm looking at your mantle covered in awards and trophies. I'm a Jew. I don't run shit. Yeah. I have more trophies than I have counter space.
It's true. I have no counter space. But yeah, you gotta have fun, right? It's like, and then, you know, I was offered a job from a big feature company years ago, and I was like, I sat down with them, and the restrictions they had, I'm like, this is stupid. Like, I'm not fucking interested in any of this stuff.
I've had companies message me, like, through Mac Models and be like, okay, we want to work with you, but, like, the models can't wear tacky red. And I'm like, so no one can wear the color red? And he's like, it's so tacky to see red lingerie. And I'm like, it's my favorite. Okay. I'm like, what would you guys like? And, like, the stipulations they had for shooting content for them was so intense.
Yeah.
I mean, we did it because, you know, a job's a job.
Right,
but
course,
I was like, wow, I can't wait until the day when I can be like, nope, not going to take this one.
Right, yeah.
Right now it's like, please, any job that comes to Canada is nice.
Yeah.
Like, we only get 4 jobs a year.
That's right. You have only one road, of course. So.
We have one freeway. That's it.
It's one freeway. And it's true, right? There's only one freeway.
It goes from the west coast to the east coast, the number 1 highway.
That's fucking amazing. Number 1.
It's called the number 1. There's only one of them. Now, we have, like, little highways off of that, obviously, to get to the rest of the country, but we have one major freeway. And it goes from left to right. That's it.
And it's only paved road, or there's other paved roads, right?
I mean, it's 2020. We have, like, 3 paved roads now. But no, like, even in Vancouver, like, we still have, like, cobblestone roads from the 1900s.
No shit?
I hate driving on them because they wreck your car. But, like, all of Gastown is, like, old cobblestone roads, brick roads.
That's where Oak Island is, right, in Canada.
Oak Island?
Yeah, it's a stupid TV show where these rich white dudes are looking for buried treasure. For like 8 seasons now, and they haven't found it. They find like a little fucking, like a little gold coin. They're like, it's gotta be here somewhere. It's just buried really deep. And I'm thinking, 8 years of you with your new technology and millions of dollars, you can't get that far down. But some fucking booger eaters from like 200 years ago, 300 years ago,
we're able to find it.
We're able to bury it that far
that
you geniuses can't. You guys are fucking morons. You're the biggest booger eaters out there. By the way, there's nothing wrong with booger eating. I'm just saying, you know. In case there's a boogers, I don't want to offend anybody.
You don't want to offend them, yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking 2020. You know, people get offended very easily. Yeah, so.
True.
So tell us a little bit more about this Porno Boot Camp. Because, like, are you thinking of bringing it back? What's happening? Are you allowed to talk about it?
Yeah.
You are? Because you looked at me, I'm like, oh my God, did I just say something I was going to say?
No. I'm super excited about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so right now, pornobootcamp.ca. All my websites are .ca because I'm Canadian. Pornobootcamp.ca is a landing page right now, which redirects you through Mac Models to apply for Porno Boot Camp. But that is changing as soon as possible. It sounds like we got the okay, the go ahead. So it's happening like tonight. So Porno Boot Camp was in Vancouver, where we took regular people off the street who applied, and we would audition them and put them through a series of tasks to see if they were capable of doing pornography. It sounds easy, but like the sex you have under the blankets with the lights off with your spouse is far different from the sex you have to have on set under bright lights with a bunch of people watching and critiquing you.
Right.
So there's different tests that we do for people, and we teach them different classes so that they perform well, because you go from 0 to hero real fast. And so it was really, really good. It got a lot of people hired, and we had our local amateur talent work with people like Bridget B., Cherie DeVille, Joanna Angel. I can't think of more names, but we have big, beautiful. Brett Rossi. Katie, not with Caden Cross. We shot with her company. It was amazing to be able to take these guys who were nobodies and be like, all right, well, if you can do this, 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 and this, if you can jump through all these hoops, when we get an opportunity to shoot porn, you're going to be the guy. Oh, by the way, you're the guy with Holly Hendricks. And the guy that we put with Holly Hendricks was a huge Holly Hendricks fan we didn't know.
Oh, no.
He really likes teeny, tiny girls.
Yeah.
And he was like, he was one of those guys that had like a surprise 12-inch dick. That was like ridiculously thick. It was insane.
Yeah.
He's the only guy I've had to like stretch out for before a scene.
Oh, shit. Okay.
So big. But he's like the skinny, meek looking dude. But he was like madly in love with her. And we didn't know. We're like, oh, by the way, we're shooting with this girl. You might not know her. Her name's Holly. And he was like, oh oh my gosh, like full on, like got like this nerd voice and was like shaking and sweating and couldn't handle his life anymore. And I was like, wow, it's so cool to be able to like give these people this experience. And it made people start their own clip stores, which I'm a big advocate for. And we taught people how to be in control of their own content, how to sell their own images, how to brand themselves. I was teaching OnlyFans classes back in 2016 when people thought OnlyFans was terrible. And now it's 2020 and everyone's like, Samantha, that thing you taught, could you come back? I'm like, yes, let me teach you ladies. So it was a really cool program that we were running, and it gave people these crazy opportunities. And when I got to feel like the fairy godmother of porn, to like give these underdog men this opportunity to shoot with superstars, it felt really, really, really cool. So now here I am in LA, and we are going to relaunch Porno Boot Camp, LA style. And the reason that this whole thing happened is because I was supposed to be filming season 2 of Porno Boot Camp with Vice. COVID hit 20 days before our show was supposed to start filming. And we were going to film 3 episodes in Canada, and then we were going to come film in America because they wanted to call the new show Like a Porn Star. And I said, listen, you cannot call this Like a Porn Star if I'm the biggest star you have. We need to take this to LA, and we need to work with actual stars. Like people who are way bigger than me. I'm very low on the totem pole compared to Los Angeles. And so I was coming here and working with my lawyers to try and bring the show to Los Angeles. And then COVID happened and everything got put on hold and there was nothing for me to do, but I had already done all this work to come here. So I was like, well, might as well go to LA anyways.
Right,
So I ended up here and I was like, okay, well, I have the opportunity to do the show, but now I've got to start from scratch again. So we've talked with the different producers and they were like, listen, what are you doing here though? Because we know what you were doing in Canada. What are you doing here? So I was like, well, I'm going to do the same thing. So you and I talked. And I talked with some different performers out here, and I was like, I want to do my show. So we are relaunching Porno Boot Camp. We're going to do a similar format to Canada, but the end goal is to get people on their own clip sites, their own fan sites, producing their own content, making themselves into their own brand, making themselves into whatever kind of star they want to be, but then also giving them the opportunity to shoot with some big names out here. So we're going to be, once again, dangling the porno dream carrot in front of people's faces. But instead of it just being your one shot at porn, now we're giving you the whole package. Now you're going to get to collab with stars. You're going to be able to open your own company, open your own brand, and make your own profit off of your own ass, which is huge. And this was hard for me to do in Canada because explaining to somebody, oh, open your own clip site, own your own content, make residual income for the rest of your life, didn't make sense to them. To them, they were like, oh no, I'm going to get discovered. I'm going to get paid $1 million for my first sex tape and I'm going to be a star for the rest of my life like Kim Kardashian. That's not how it works. And explaining that to people was very difficult. Now COVID hit and girls start seeing how OnlyFans works and they're starting to see how the internet works. They're like, oh, I get it now. And so continuing off the energy that COVID gave to us, they put us in a really unique situation to build the industry in a direction that it was trying to go anyways. But now we're able to bring in the masses. And right now, porn's blowing up because of things like OnlyFans. I hate using OnlyFans as an example all the time because it's just one of many. You've got Is My Girl, you've got Just for Fans, you've got Loyal Fans, you've got AVN stars, you've got ManyVids Crush. And the one thing that I really do like about all this, though, is I've always preached like owning your own content and doing things properly. Having consent forms, having a code of conduct, making sure that like when you shoot with other people, you're following some rules and regulations, being professional. Because a lot of people are like, oh, I'm going to get super drunk and fuck a bunch of bitches and put it on the internet. That's not okay. It's never been okay. But what I really like is because of COVID and because of this influx of all these amateurs just throwing their tits out there trying to see if they can make $1 and realizing they can't, it also started companies like ManyVids enforcing that you have co-performer agreements signed. You cannot produce a video on ManyVids right now without handing in a 2257 from your co-performer. And that has never been done before. That's brand new this month. And it took way too long for companies to start doing that.
100%.
Now, I've been keeping all my paperwork for years because I believe in proper business. But right now, I was telling girls when I taught OnlyFans classes, I was like, listen, if you don't have an agreement with that person you worked with, you can have problems. If that person you're working with is your boyfriend and you film with them for free all the time and you guys have 100 videos on the internet, but then you break up one day, who owns that content? Well, you never had an agreement.
Yep.
Well, you didn't even have a copy of their photo ID. How are we supposed to prove how old they were or who they were when they shot that? This can cause big problems. Now, I don't think that you should sue your ex-boyfriend because you're cranky. If you guys agreed to make content, you agreed to make content. Like, right. I do think that there is honor in what we say, but we have to cover our own legal asses. And that piece of the puzzle has been missing for so long.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest things we teach in Porno Boot Camp. It's like, all right, you want to be somebody, you want to be a porn star, you want to be famous. Here's the nitty gritty of it.
Yeah.
You need to have your STI work done. You got to have your COVID test done. You need to not only have your STI paperwork done or blood work done, but have it done every 14 days.
Right.
And the people who come to me like, oh yeah, I got tested like last year. I'm like, what good is that?
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
Well, the most people that in our industry that come back with dirty tests are civilians that are trying to get in the industry, because civilians are dirtier than people in the industry.
100%.
Because people in the industry are always tested.
Every positive test that's come back has been somebody who's trying to audition. And the first thing we tell them is go and get tested. And they come back and they go, I don't know who gave this to me. And I'm like, well, when was the last time you tested? Well, they always say 6 months ago. They're always lying.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so for 6 months, you've been passing this thing that you're asymptomatic in around. How many people have you slept with in the last 6 months?
Right.
And they're like, oh, like I do this, and this. I'm like, you got to tell all those people, man.
Yeah.
You got to go tell everyone. Yeah. And they always want to find somebody else to blame. I mean, the first time that somebody catches something, you want to blame someone. You don't want to take ownership of it. That's just the human condition. But it's always been brand new guys and gorgeous, gorgeous men and women who honestly just didn't know better.
Dirty motherfuckers.
Yeah. They don't even know they're
They
dirty.
just don't know. They just don't know, right?
Well, and I always tell guys, because I worked in wrestling for a while, and I always tell them, I'm like, listen, like there's giant bus ads right now warning you that syphilis is on the rise. Syphilis can be contracted through rough skin-on-skin contact. That's why MMA fighters, wrestlers get tested for it.
Right.
Because you can do a hardcore wrestling match with someone and give them syphilis.
Yeah.
Like Iron Sheik, didn't he give the HIV to somebody?
It was Abdullah the Butcher, supposedly.
Abdullah the Butcher.
He gave hepatitis C to this wrestler Hannibal, I think, allegedly.
Yeah.
But like, there's footage of him like using blade on each other, on himself and on.
My thing is, if you know you have Hep C or something that is contracted through blood, why are you doing a hardcore match where you're using blood? That is not okay. And this is something that I enforced with ECCW back in Vancouver. I was like, you guys need to get tested. And I provided a nurse that we used in porn to go to their training facility and test their wrestlers.
No shit.
And the reason I did this is because a lot of those wrestlers were coming to Porno Boot Camp and auditioning for me, and they were coming back with dirty tests.
I've seen wrestling rings. They've been used for death matches.
Yep.
Used for gangbangs. So, do you think any of that's been cleaned from one or the other scene? Hell no.
I have been involved in wrestling on the sidelines for a long time, for approximately 5 years, and I've never seen anyone clean or sterilize the wrestling. I've never. And like Shreds used to work in the ring truck, which means he's the guy organizing where all the mats go and like making sure that the ring truck is organized.
Yeah.
I never once saw disinfectant bottles used. They would mop it with water.
Right.
But I'm like, you're sweating in there, you're bleeding in there, you're spitting in there.
Yeah.
I mean,
shitting in there.
Who knows?
Depending what happens, right?
But like, I've never ever seen the ring sterilized. They'd put more duct tape over the ropes. That's about as clean as it gets.
It's like, I got into porn because of wrestling, because I was doing stuff for XPW. Those were by Extreme Associates, for Rob Black. And then I wanted to become friends with some of the wrestlers and going backstage and shooting them after death matches or during death matches, and just seeing just like how there's lack of cleanliness. Oh my goodness. It's like, oh, crazy.
That's how COVID started. It was wrestlers. For sure.
It was a death match in China somewhere, or Japan.
Yep.
It was like, they're all bleeding and rubbing up against each other, and then here's some crazy glue to close up your hole, whatever.
They're hilarious too. Like, if like they fall down and bleed, like even not on purpose, they'll like smear it back and forth to make it look worse.
Because it looks good. Because entertainers. Oh my gosh! I shot a what do you call it? A promo one time with Supreme. He recently died, and rest in peace. But he, this fucking guy, like he hasn't done a death match in a long time, so he's promoting this death match he was going to do in New York. So we're walking through this alley. It was so long ago, there was not even fucking battery-powered lights for cameras. So we're just kind of like, stop underneath this street lamp. And he broke this bottle, and he cut himself right across the forehead. And he cut himself super deep. And now he's just walking and bleeding, and there's so much blood coming out. And then at one point, he realizes how much blood there is. Total showman, because he's called a human horror film. This dude stops, and he's doing the promo to the camera, and blood splattering all over the lens. He cups his hands under his chin and fills it with blood and then drinks it.
Whoa. Oh, yeah. I can't.
Yeah, it was just like, and I'm just like, oh, and I'm going, this is so gross, but visually it's gorgeous. And then when we were done, he was like, was that cool? I'm like, that was amazing. He goes, I loved every minute of it. He's like, I haven't done it in so long. And he was so proud and excited that he bled so much that, and he ad-libbed this drinking of his own blood and rubbing it into his face. It was like, oh, the ultimate showman. Like those deathmatch guys, it's such a show. In the middle of doing all that craziness, they're still thinking about the entertainment, even that they're injured. There was a wrestler recently. I just DM'd him actually. Don't know him. His name is Jimmy Rave. He had his arm amputated recently because he had an infection. And what he posted was that he
got the infection from the wrestling match.
No. He didn't say. If you go to his page, you're like, oh my god, he does a lot of death matches. But like I don't know if he did a match because we're under COVID restrictions. But he had like a bad infection, and according to what he posted, he just wanted to suck it up and deal with it. Kind of like what I did with my leg. Oh. And then when he finally had enough.
What did we learn?
Yeah. Well, I learned, and I saved my leg. He didn't, and he got his arm amputated.
So because you are in fact smarter than a wrestler.
or as dumb as a wrestler, maybe you should say. But yeah, like so I messaged him just like encouraging words, you know, look, this is what happened to me, and I'm as stupid as you were. I mean, I didn't put those words obviously, but I'm like, I just want to like send him a message like, hey, you know, like I'm thinking about you. I don't fucking know you. I've never seen him wrestle, but like I imagine. Because the doctors told me the same thing. You wait another half a day, we would have cut your leg off. So with him, obviously, he waited a little too long.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, those fucking guys, they're insane. And like when you're friends with them and you're at ringside shooting them, or you're backstage seeing the result, you're just like, I love you, man. I don't want you doing that anymore, please. Because it's entertaining until you get to know these people, and then you're like, oh my. But they love it. So what are you gonna fucking stop them from doing what they love?
I saw a guy. He tried to do a flip into the ring off the top rope, and he just didn't tuck and roll proper, and he landed directly on his head, knocked himself out, and I had it all on videotape because I filmed a lot of the matches, and we're so alike, by the way. But and he was out cold, and then he tried to come to, and he tried to keep going, and they were like, stop, like you're not okay, and they had to stop the whole match, it was the last match of the night, and they sent everybody out of the room. And I was like, you gotta get this guy to the hospital. And they were like, oh, like we can't do that. Like he's not from here. Like he's international. He doesn't have health insurance. And I opened up my wallet and I was like, here's $300 to get him started. Go. Yeah. Do the right thing. And then luckily the owner was like, no, we'll cover this from like the door costs. Like they wouldn't take my money, but I was just like, the fact that I had to flex that hard for you to do the right thing really upset me. And that's when I was like, I told my boyfriend at the time, I was like, man, I don't want you wrestling for this company. Like, they don't care about people. But it's not that they don't care about people. It's that they care so much about the show. They don't care what gets in the way.
That Owen Hart dying, and you know, and they kept the pay-per-view because it's the show must go on type thing, and they care, especially like indie shows. Like,
Owen Hart, thanks for the house, buddy.
Yeah, right, yeah. Exactly.
You put the asses in the seats. Good job.
That's right. Yeah, it's and that was like the beauty of going to indie shows and knowing people. It's just the love that they have for it. It's insane, and they will do anything for that.
I mean, I still like wrestling, and I there's so many wrestlers that I absolutely adore. Yeah. I adore so many wrestlers. But at the end of the day, I'm like, don't kill yourselves so that I can cheer or boo.
Right, exactly.
Like you alive is so much more important. Yeah. And watching people like destroy themselves, like they're 40 years old and they're wearing 2 knee braces and they can't walk up the stairs, like, and they're never making it. You know, never getting like on a TV spot or anything.
My brother and I followed this wrestler, Angel, for 3 years.
Yeah.
And he was a deathmatch wrestler. He was, when we started following him, I think he was like 19 or 20. And during interviews, he would forget what we asked him, you know, and he was all scarred up. super quiet,
Yep.
super shy guy, except when he's wrestling, and they were throwing him off 40-foot scaffolds, and he did one bump where he missed the tables. They threw him off like this 30-foot thing, and he was in a wheelchair for a couple of months after that.
Oh,
he said when he
no.
landed, he said he could feel his insides moving around.
Ooh.
I can't even imagine what was going on down there.
Like Jello.
Yeah, and so when you see that, it's hard to like want to watch it because these are all people,
Yeah.
and when you get to know them, it's entertaining. But then you're just like, man, okay, it's entertaining, but at some point you're going too far. But the problem is these young guys, and they do this crazy death matches because they think they'll get discovered. And the only one, really, Terry Funk was already a star when he started doing death matches. But the only one that actually was successful really was Mick Foley. Because he did some crazy stuff, right? I mean, like that dude lost an ear, lost his teeth, did all that crazy stuff, and honestly, the only reason he really made it is because he's got amazing mic skills. And
he's very intelligent.
He's very intelligent. His fucking mic skills are amazing. He did crazy matches, but you could get anybody to do crazy matches. But if they can't if they sell the match with their promos, who gives a fuck? And he could sell with his mouth, like he was so fucking articulate and so quick, and that's what made him, and these guys, they're like doing all this crazy stuff without actually stopping and thinking like, how am I going to sell myself? You're not going to sell yourself by breaking your arms and legs. You're going to sell yourself with your persona, with your voice. And The Rock, shitty wrestler, one of the biggest ever because he's got a hell of a mouth on him.
Yep.
I mean, it's super fucking Hulk Hogan, can't wrestle, but he's got a great promo.
Yeah.
Brother, and so and Stone Cold, same thing. They
I met Stone Cold at AVN in 2014.
At AVN, really?
Yep.
Oh, sheesh.
I was talking with this group of guys online they were like a bicycle gang.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh, we should totally meet up and like do a ride while I'm in town. And because they were friends of friends. Mm-hmm. And there was one guy who was really, really tall and buff and bald. And he was like, yeah, I'll come by the show and see you. And this guy walked by my booth. I was there with Tara Patrick. Mm-hmm. And he walked by and I was like, oh, maybe that's the guy. He looks kind of rough around the edges. Like, he's probably in a bicycle gang. And so I walked up to him and I was like, hey, sir, I just need you to know that you've got really impressive posture. I don't know why, that's what I said. And he's like, okay, cool, thanks. And then he like put his arm around his woman and like kept walking. And I was like, whatever. And so I like went back, and I had like a mohawk back then. Like I was a little rough around the edges. And so I went back to my booth, and these guys were just like, do you know who that was? And I was like, no, not who I thought it was. And they're like, dude, that was Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'm like, what's a Stone Cold Steve Austin?
what's a Stone Cold? Amazing.
I mean, okay, I didn't get into wrestling until 2015. In 2014, I was like, what's a Stone Cold Steve Austin? They were like, he drinks beer in a wrestling ring. I'm like, okay. So he's a fan?
I took my roommate in Vegas and my business partner to a lucha event. Oh. It was a Lucha Expo. My friends owned Lucha Expo, and their second event was in Vegas. First event was in Vegas. So I took my friends, and they're like, it was cool because I got VIP seats because like I'm homies with them, like got to meet Rey Mysterio. I met him before, but it was kind of funny because like my friend like he goes, you want to go say hi to Rey Mysterio? I'm like, oh yeah. And so I go over there and he started talking to him, and like Rey Mysterio knew who I was, and I was like, knew I was as a regular guy, not like fucking the other, not as Ivan.
Not as the porn director extraordinaire.
Yeah, right, exactly. As the regular Slava who helps out these lucha guys once in a while.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I love lucha wrestling.
And my roommate, who always make fun of wrestling, sat there in front row like a little kid, fucking smile ear to ear. And the wrestlers are yelling at him, and they're freaking out, and he's yelling at them, and then afterwards he goes, oh my God, it was so much fun. And he's like, I want to go to these all the time. I'll go, only lucha shows. Other shows are great too, and they're funny. But
lucha shows have a different energy.
It's like everybody, it's such a family.
It's fun, it's athletic, it's Cirque du Soleil-ish.
Yeah, the vibrant colors, the masks, everything. And he loved it. And so I try to, we were supposed to go one this weekend, but because of COVID, it's done.
I know, and then my friend posted a wrestling show with the same date. Mm-hmm. And I've been in California for so long now, I didn't recognize that the entire poster was in Spanish.
Oh, shit.
And I was like, oh, maybe this is the event that Ivan and I were going to go to. Because it's for the same date, and it's a wrestling show, it's a lucha event. And I was reading it in Spanish, understanding it, which blew my mind once I realized what I was doing.
How does that work?
And then I was like, oh, this is in Mexico.
Oh, shit.
Bestia 666 is wrestling there. He's one of my favorite lucha wrestlers.
Yeah, his dad is Damien 666, who used to wrestle at XPW.
Yeah.
The company I started with my brother.
Right.
Before. And, oh my God, Damien 666 one time, he dislocated his finger in a match, right?
Of course he did.
And I'm shooting like fucking just...
The medic in me cannot handle the injuries that happen.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I just want to mama bear all these guys.
Oh, yeah. And
I think that's why I love them so much. I'm like, let me put a Band-Aid on that, honey.
And this dude kept popping his finger back in.
Blech.
And as the match was going on, it kept popping back out, right? So it was obviously broken.
Yeah.
It wasn't like just dislocated.
It was destroyed.
And you're just watching, you're like, oh my God, this is fucking
You're like,
gross.
just stop.
And then after the match, they were like, you should go to the hospital backstage, right? And he's like, no, I'll just drive back to Mexico and take care of it there. Oh my God, you tough motherfucker. So that's his dad. And Bestia's got this great look. I mean, he's so scary looking.
Oh, he's so lovely.
And then when you meet these people,
I was his valet once.
Were you really?
Yes.
You know, I was trying to get so many of the girls that we did websites for to be valets for these lucha guys. So many of them are like, how much am I getting paid? I go, do you understand the exposure you're going to get if you go to Mexico and go to a show in front of 5,000 fucking people?
Oh, man, I love Bestia. He's like, I follow him on Instagram now, and I support everything he does. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
He's just a good dude. You know who else is a really good dude? Luchasaurus.
Yeah.
He's a good human.
Uh-huh.
I really, really like that guy. I've been on
giant.
2 shows with him.
He's a dinosaur. Dinosaurs are nice.
Yeah. He's like Barney.
He's like Barney.
I've been on 3 shows with him, and he is so professional and so humble.
He's very intelligent. He's like fucking super like
he should be like a university professor. Like he's brilliant.
He's got a degree and stuff because he was on Big Brother.
Oh, was he?
He was on Big Brother
That makes sense.
out here, and he was talking about how he wants to be a wrestler. That was this whole thing. I want to be a wrestler. And then the reason I knew he was Luchasaurus, my friends with the expo, the lucha stuff.
Yeah.
They used to run lucha shows at this casino in San Diego. It was like it was like a Native American reservation.
Perfect.
And I was backstage, and it was kind of funny because I was there with this girl I was seeing was a photographer, and so we're running around. They were like she was super excited. She's a big wrestling fan.
Yeah.
Because Conan came up to her, introduced himself, and she was like, oh, and I'm like, I know, right? He's really cool. But there's that guy from fucking Luchasaurus without his mask, and I'm like, that's the guy from fucking Big Brother, and then I forgot he put on the mask, but he wasn't. I don't know if he was a dinosaur or not back then, but I'm all like, that's the dude, and then 2 and 2 together, AEW, I'm like, oh my God, there he is, he's fucking back, and he's doing great, and he's fucking talented. For a guy that giant, I don't know how tall he is, he's like 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", he's huge.
He's at least 6'5", like at
fucking
least. He's
giant, man,
he's jumbo.
Yeah.
He is so big.
Yeah.
But just the nicest dude. Like there's some wrestlers that come through that are complete jerks.
Yeah.
Like there are some guys I never want to see again. But Luchasaurus was one that stuck in my mind for a long time. Yeah. Foley was another one. Foley is so lovely to work with.
Yeah.
He's so super nice. Jimmy Hart is so wonderful. Mm-hmm. And he is down. If you're like, hey, would you do a promo for Instagram? He's like, no problem. What do you need? Like he's just happy to be there. Like, what a sweet, sweet man. What's his name? The guy that spits blood, the vampire?
Not vampire. Gangrel?
Gangrel. He's a sweetheart.
He just showed up in AEW for a pay-per-view for just like out of the blue, like, wait, why does he still look the same? You know something? Years ago, I don't know if he wants. I don't give a fuck. He showed up at Anabolic with this other guy trying to start like wrestling porno thing.
Amazing.
It was called.
I've been contacted about wrestling porno a lot from like big name dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so. Well,
there's like there's names I can't say.
Yeah, of course.
How did we go from talking about porn to wrestling? Well, they're very similar.
It's funny.
Showmanship is important.
It's funny you say this because I was going to bring that up. My ex Cammy and some of these stories, I literally vividly so remember where I was at when this shit happened.
Yeah.
We were driving in the 118 to Extreme, and I brought up how wrestling and porn is so similar because people live their character.
Yeah.
Wrestlers go by their character almost in real life. Same with porn people. It's like they become that fucking gimmick. Mm-hmm. And she's like, don't ever fucking compare porn stars to wrestlers. I'm like, whoa. I'm all like, everybody's like a carny. Like both businesses are like carnies. And she goes, don't ever.
And neither of them like to be called carnies.
Yeah. And she
call a wrestler carny. See what happens.
She fucking flipped out on me. She's so like, fuck wrestlers. She dated a wrestler.
Yeah.
And so she had a bad experience. All of a sudden, she's like, rah, 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 and then I don't know if you know who Missy Hyde is. Missy Hyde is like this super legendary, super hot ballet from years ago.
Yep.
I guess her Missy Hyde got in the big beef because Missy Hyde stole her man or vice versa, or some shit.
Sounds
so she
right.
hated wrestling, and anytime I would bring wrestling up, she would fucking flip out. Don't compare porn to wrestling. Like, it's literally the same fucking thing. One's just they're fucking rolling around in the ring, sweating, and you're all rolling around on the couch or bed, sweating.
Yep.
And you live in your fucking character name. And she was she had her fucking thing. And then of course after me, she starts dating a 7 foot tall Russian Sambo fighter who was on so many steroids. She said every time he sat on the couch, she had to put a towel on the couch because of all the blood.
Drip sweat.
No blood.
Ooh.
All the pimples because from all the steroids.
All the pimples.
And I'm like,
the pimples are real, man. I have dated some steroid users, and the pimples are real.
Yeah.
Real.
Oh.
Like, it is. I mean, I have a medical background, so I'm always like, ooh, let me steam your back.
Oh my god.
I am Dr. Pimple Popper. Let me get this.
Ew.
And like, yeah, it's the steroids and pimples, man. Whoo! And they're not even pimples. They are like boils. Like it's.
Oh, that's so gross.
It is intense. I have dated some big boys.
They say that I'm the baddest from the hood of Calabasas. My mama's rich, daddy's rich. Hope they die up quick. I'm getting paid. Truck from baby lamping in the shade. Shade is where I'm lamping. House up in the Hamptons. Ain't no fear, no black eyes here, so white girls always dancing. They shake, then stop like some turbo brakes. We take them out they Hondas, the chauffeurs and some guava. Go have dinner with Michelle and Barack Obama. My Jeffrey Dahmer, Mike Osama, John Connor, Anaconda. Fuck your baby mamas and the baby bastard drama. That baby don't look like me, so I ain't the father.